back to Chicano Podcast. We're here at Dia de los Muertos with Chicano Cultural Inc. Gina did an amazing opening ceremony. They're going to do a closing ceremony to give thanks to our gods and our ancestors and the blessed land here that we're able to put this event together. How are you doing tonight, Gina? How are you enjoying this event?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Of course, hell yeah, bless. So I wanted to ask you a couple questions. For one first question that always came to my mind was like, where do you gain all this cultural wisdom? I know you know a lot about our ancient culture and about the Aztecs, and where do you get this information to hand down to us?
Well, it's taken me many years to learn it. I'm 50 now, so I started learning when I was maybe about 9 or 10. My dad got me an encyclopedia to start learning it. Now my grandmother, on my mother's side, my maternal grandmother, she used to speak a native language.
Oh, Nahuatl or?
No, she spoke Cora, which is,
I haven't heard that one.
yeah, so it's kind of close to Nayarite.
Okay,
She was from Mazatlan. So I knew we were indigenous, we were native. So I started to question more things about my culture, and I just started reading every single little thing.
Let's go.
And then finally, I started doing ceremony and kind of getting involved with the culture myself.
Right.
And I learned Nahuatl, which was the language that the Aztec speaks, right?
Yeah.
Once I learned that, it opened up like a whole area it was like a whole different world, because it's a different worldview than from speaking like European languages, Indo-European languages.
Yeah.
So I thought differently. After a while, I decided I'm going to go into like anthropology, and I'm going to start learning the language. I became a linguist, and I decided that that was going to be my whole. It was like a passion for me, and that's what I was going to dedicate my life to.
So it like enveloped you as soon as you learned the language, right?
Right, because you grow up as a Mexican person. I mean, I knew I was Mexican, right? And but there was a lot of stigma with that, and I always felt like people would put us down, and I didn't feel like any self-esteem until I learned about our ancestors.
Right.
And once I did that, I was like, wait a minute, I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of my ancestors. I don't need to be ashamed of who I am or anything like that,
Right. Dan, I love that. Once you get like in touch with your bloodline and like what made you who you are kind of, and what the people of our past went through, it kind of like makes you want to like own it, right? And be like, yeah, it does make you prideful, right? That's beautiful. So what was like your motivation to want to hand it down, to give us this beautiful, like you say, you're like an anthropologist, you're going in and dissecting our culture, and like you're absorbing everything through the language and then kind of interpreting it for the youngsters and for us to learn, right?
Right. So I work with, basically what I'm doing is I'm helping Mexicans that are reconnecting or detribalized natives. So they need to, sometimes I help them with DNA testing, genealogy.
Oh, wow, genealogy.
And I also work with preserving languages. So yes, that's really important to me. I teach the language. I teach Aztec dance, which is there's a whole history behind it, but it originally comes from the concheros. And that was in Mexico. When the Spanish first invaded, they wouldn't let us dance unless we danced in front of churches.
I read about something about that, yeah.
So it survived, and so but it got brought to the United States, and now I follow that. And I also I am learning the ulama. And we have, we're forming a delegation here.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it's going to be headquartered in Yuma, Arizona. So I'm part of that, and I want my kids to, like, follow the tradition.
Yeah.
That's something that their dad wanted them to do,
That's good,
yeah.
Bless. That's beautiful. I love that. And speaking about your kids, something I want to ask you, did they get involved right off the bat, or how was it that, because I see they're beautifully involved in everything you do. I see them out there doing the dances. And not only are they just doing it, but they look happy. They look like they want to be a part of it. So how was it that the kids got involved?
So my late husband, their father, he was also a dancer. That's how I met him.
Yeah.
So we ended up kind of both following the tradition.
Beautiful,
so we named them in their native language, like the Nahuatl.
Yeah, beautiful
names. And so their father and I decided, like, this is something we're going to teach them. We're going to pass it down to them. And so they're kind of born into it. And I think that we didn't force them. Their great-grandfather, Krober, he used to tell me that. He said, don't force them to do stuff, but teach them what it's about. So their own, like on their own, they just decided that they
sought
wanted
it out. Yeah, that's beautiful. Man, that's the best.
It's there for them, but you know, you can't really force anyone to believe, because
you
it is
gotta
part of
put
it's
it
a
out,
way of
put
life.
it out there, and they gotta go and seek it out, right? That's beautiful. I
Once
love
they
that.
start asking me like, hey, can I get like, you know, I would like to learn how to do this, or they want an outfit, or they want something, or feathers, I tell them how they could do it, and then we get it for them.
That's dope. Heck yeah, I love that. Yeah, their whole regalia, everything I love is on point. The ceremony was like every year, even last year, you guys killed it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing their closing ceremony. Do you mind me? Could you explaining like how you named your kids? Because they have beautiful names.
Once I started studying the language and speaking it, my late husband, he also wanted to. We had like dreams. It was weird, and we both would dream around the same type of when I was pregnant.
Trippy,
yeah, and so he would be like, you know what, I dreamt about like Quetzalcoatl, and that's how I named my daughter. And then
I got the chills.
Yeah, and with Tez, his name is Tezcatlipoca, Chicawas, and we couldn't have dreams. Everything was dark, and he goes, that is so weird. It feels like Tezcat. It feels like, you know, some type of consciousness, you know?
Yeah.
And so we named him that.
That's trippy.
Yeah. And my firstborn, it was, both of us wanted Ocelot.
Yeah.
We wanted him to be like a warrior, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how his name came to be. Yeah.
Oh, I love that, man. They got great names and they're great people. You're raising some amazing children, absolutely.
Right.
For sure, yeah. Well, appreciate you coming and spending time with us and doing the opening ceremony. Chicano Cultural Inc. Make sure you guys tune in to their events. They do amazing cultural dances, and she's got deep ancient wisdom that she can feed the youngins. Is there anything you would like to say to the young kids coming up, the adolescent kids?
There's different ways that we would invite people. Not everyone is going to want to do danza. Not everyone is going to want to do ulama, like the Mesoamerican ball game that we do. But I also teach the arts and crafts. So if they're artistic,
table over there,
right, they can learn. It depends on what the child wants to do. Like, we're not going to force them. That's what I would say. I'd say whatever you want to do. Like, if you want to make jewelry, you want to make a bracelet, some earrings, or do you want to dance? You want to try,
There's a lot of different ways.
Do you want to do the ball game? You want to do a sport? Yeah.
Yeah, there's something for everybody, right?
Right. Or if you just want to like find out like who were these people? Who were your ancestors? Where do you come from? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do. We answer those questions. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, so you heard that. If any youngins, any adolescent, you want to come through and get involved, hit up Chicano Cultural Center. They're always there available to reach out. So thank y'all for tuning in again. Gina, thank you for the interview.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We're here at Dia de los Muertos, Chicano Podcast. Tune in. Peace.